When I hear the words black father, I feel like I have a duty, and that duty is to counter the absent black father narrative that's portrayed in the media, in movies, in our music. It's not what it seems to be. I've surrounded myself, with many young and old black fathers who are still in their kids' lives, and they play a huge role in that.
Well, when I hear the words black father, I feel a little bit of a way by that. I'm just really a father. So I don't really consider myself a black father. I'm a father. I think a lot of, especially in our community, there's a lot of slack about being fathers and being around and doing what's right for your kids every day. So, I'm not really conscious of that, but I do know it's out there. So I take extra effort to make sure that I'm there for my kids. But like I said earlier, it's very natural for me. I like being around them. I like being in that space. So it's been very easy for me to do that.
Powerful, hungry, and also struggle. Because the stigma that we have that's always been placed on black fathers, not being there, not representing, it's one of those things that, I'm glad that I can do my best to change. Here's another generation taking hold and doing what's right. There's obviously some people who fall through the cracks, and I try to tell them, listen, there's more to it than just, buying them a chain or buying them some Jordans. That's superficial stuff. The true wealth of being a dad is being present all the time.
We've been labeled so much and so often that I just consider myself to be a dad. And I think being seen, I don't want to be treated any different. I just want to be the same as everybody else. And so when I hear the term black dad, I just kind of push back and say, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm a dad. That's what I am.
My dad tells me he loves me every single time I'm with him. I wake up in the morning, I go to him, I hug him, and I say, I love you. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel like he's always gonna support me.
In the morning, night, throughout the day, I'll just, call them, text them, hey, I love you, and then they'll, I love you too, you know what I mean? So, and they do it all the time too, right? So I think it's such an important thing. I think emotions and showing, true affection goes a long way. And I think as a black father, you gotta be that caregiver.
I think the most important language that we have to impact our kids is love. And not only to say it, but to definitely show it.
A lot of his affection or who he is comes from his acts of service and what he does, and just a lot of the giving back that he did kind of showed that aspect of things.
My dad often tells me he loves me pretty daily, and it's good to hear him say that because it's really nice to hear that someone loves you every day.
Reading to my kids before they go to sleep and telling them I love them is something that, I have to do every day before we go to bed, so that, there's that emotional, attachment and building between us.
Shoot, we talk every day, sometimes even a couple times a day, so we definitely say I love you at least probably once a day. He's always consistent telling us that to make sure we know.
His love for me it's never wavering. Whether I do well on the court, off the court, whether if I quit the game right now, I think his love would never change for me. So he's always reiterated that, and that's a constant thing that he always says to me.
If it's not said, it doesn't really have to be said. We already know it, and we love each other unconditionally. So
there's a reason why we are as a family, because that's a term used every day in our house. At this time when I say bye to them on the phone, I love you guys. And they don't mind that. So, it is what it is. And if someone minded, I could care less. Those are my guys. Those are my babies to this day. So, I love them as much as I love our space. It's a good time for us.
Basketball helped with those tough conversations in a sense, because we'd speak about basketball, but then as a hooper, a lot of the skills that you learn in basketball translate to life. So he would always take a scenario from basketball and then give me the lesson in real life terms. So I think it definitely helped us.
He's always coached me since I was 3 years old. So we've always had that coach relationship, that father relationship. And I think it's been a huge part. He's taught me simple life lessons through the game. I think that will just carry me on.
in basketball, communication is a huge thing, especially when you're a coach's son and he's the coach and you're the point guard. So you got to have that great relationship on the court. And I think we've always had that. We just have a great relationship, and we've built that through basketball and off the court.
Kobe's and Gigi's relationship was, they had a really tight bond. And that's like me and my dad. Like my dad and I have a really tight bond. I'm usually with him in everything, especially basketball. So I really think that we had like a similar bond compared to them.
We just talk about the game almost every day, every single highlight we see. It's very important to see my dad on the sidelines because every single time I do like a good play, I'll look at him to make sure that he's seen, or if I do a bad play, that he could correct me and help me. And like when he's not there, it just doesn't feel right.
One of the biggest things that as a black father you can do is be there and be present.